a lot of people actually get the keys, they move in, and then they don't do much until it's time to sell. And then they say to us, what should we spend money on and upgrading to make it appealing for resale? And they do them, and then they go, oh, we should have done that years ago, or oh, we were thinking about doing it but never got around to it, or
oh, now I don't want to move. Like it just in a joking manner, but it's consistent. I would say
yes,
75% of the time people are saying this. So that just goes to reinforce how important it is to do these things. What's up, everybody? This is episode 86 of KT Confidential.
Ooh.
Welcome back. Nice to see you, Ariel.
Nice to see you. And nice to...
Go ahead.
Well, part two, as you were going to say, of the new home purchase.
A lot of people out there have been purchasing new construction homes.
From new home builders.
And many of those, especially in the Halton region right now, many developments are starting to close, or have them coming up.
Right across the GTA.
We've got a good handful or more of people that have already approached us and signed listing agreements, because theirs is coming to close in, I think some of the earlier ones are October, maybe.
We've got October, we've got November, we've got
into next year.
Now, March, May. You've got one in 2021 that you're listing, so we're booking far out in advance. But episode 86 of KT Confidential, the real estate podcast. We are your hosts. I am Ariel Kormendy. He is Adrian Trott. We are the owners of KT Realty, also known as the KT team, or the Kormendy Trott team, as you might see on our signs around town, and also co-owners of KT Property Management. We've got all of your real estate.
KTPM.
Yeah, everybody. I throw people off when I say KTPM sometimes. So we got all your real estate needs covered, and in this podcast, we talk everything real estate. If you've got any questions that you want answered in upcoming podcasts, just shoot us a message. Adrian has fleas, so we're still in quarantine.
I was just looking at my beard. I feel like it looked lopsided, but I think it's just I haven't brushed it today. So I was just trying to brush it, and then I saw this side looked like it was a little bit off kilter, but the camera's backwards. So when I went to brush it,
because your glasses are still.
No, they're not. I fixed them. I thought I fixed them.
Yeah.
Maybe my eyes are all fucked up.
Maybe.
Anyways, today, just to recap, maybe we can do a quick recap of last week's episode.
I'll do the recap
before we do that. I was just giving you the courtesy of the recap.
Yeah,
if you want me to do it, I'll do it. But you've already accepted it. So, but before we get into that, if you're on YouTube right now watching the video, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you get notifications of the upcoming episodes every Monday morning between 6 and 6:30. It's uploaded and published. If you're listening to us on a streaming service and you prefer the audio version of podcasts, make sure you are liking the podcast and following us on whatever streaming service you're listening to. All right, let's get into the recap of last week.
And I got to say, before I do the recap, I just want to say that I am actually thoroughly enjoying listening back to our own podcasts.
You would, because so self-absorbed.
Yeah, that's totally it. I go back now that we've done 85 episodes.
Yes.
I remind myself on certain things that I want to talk about or engage with certain people, or even train or talk to our team on certain topics. And I'll listen back in my car on a long drive and be like, 5 minutes in on episode 10, there was a good point, and I need to send that to one of my friends or one of my clients or one of my colleagues or whatever.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I was listening, I don't remember what I was doing, but I was listening back to the one where we had Joanna Venditti from Nesting Story on, and we were talking about, this was earlier on in the whole COVID situation, and we were talking about things that we have learned about ourselves since we had to adapt to the changes of working from home and all the stuff that's going on. And that was kind of a neat refresher too, because it reminded me of some of the things I was doing that I have maybe lost track of a little bit with routines and such.
Yeah, and now I think we're seeing a lot of things evolving and changing, especially, we're into June, July, and summer months. Things are a little bit more relaxed, certainly in the real estate world, and things are going a little bit crazy in real estate. But we're still working from home. We haven't opened our office yet, really, just for the very basics. So still working out of the basement, but working hard. So it's funny how the evolution of this whole process has happened. We're in the same shirt again.
Once again, how does this happen?
It's even a V-neck.
I know. Boy.
Did you buy it on clothes. Amazon?
I don't think I've ever bought clothes on Amazon.
$11.99, brother. Amazon. It's soft as hell. It's really nice. There's no tags. Ships to your door. I mean, it doesn't get any better. These cool. Are my favorite kind of shirts, just the basic shirts. Anyways, let's do a recap of episode 85. We talked about what to do when you purchase a new construction home in terms of upgrades. We talked a little bit about potentially doing a home inspection. And then, of course, we focused on, where to spend your money with the builders. So if you didn't listen or watch episode 85, go back and watch that. Certainly, if you're thinking about buying a new construction home, or if you have purchased one, definitely go back. Today, in part 2 now, episode 86, we are going to talk about what to spend money on after you get the keys. And a lot of people actually get the keys, they move in, and then they don't do much until it's time to sell. And then They say to us, what should we spend money on and upgrading to make it appealing for resale? And they do them, and then they go, oh, we should have done that years ago, or oh, we were thinking about doing it but never got around to it, or
oh, now I don't want to move. Like it just in a joking manner, but it's consistent. I would say
yes.
75% of the time people are saying this. So that just goes to reinforce how important it is to do these things.
And even a lot of times the homeowner will come back to us and say, wow, I never thought of that. That was a great decision. I never thought of putting this there. I never thought of painting it this color, or I never thought of doing this backsplash or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is a topic that everybody wants to know about. And even if your home isn't brand new, but it is, a few years old and you haven't done anything to it, because there's a lot of you out there, what are the things that will provide a good return on that investment? What are the things that will showcase the home to make it look great for the resale market? And in between, what are the things that you can do that will help resale and you might actually get enjoyment out of it in the meanwhile? So Adrian, do you have anything that sticks out in your head that you want to mention?
Well, I would say first and foremost is paint. I think a lot of people have the whole premise that, we need to wait a year in case there's nail pops, But I think you should paint right away. I think paint, the two number one things that I think we consistently recommend to people before they sell, as far as things to do to their house, paint and light fixtures.
Yep.
Painting, is it just instantly makes it feel a little bit more like your home. It's very cost effective. Some people can do it on their own, although many of those people shouldn't. Really be critical of your ability to do it, because if you start getting sloppy marks on the ceiling, it's near impossible to cover
or the
up.
Baseboard.
Or the baseboard, it's near impossible to fix unless you're repainting the whole ceiling. You can touch it up with white paint, it's not going to match. We've got houses All the time we see this. But yeah, paint is great. It can really warm up a house, really make it feel like your own.
Just on that note too, there's a lot of shitty painters out there too. So even though you're hiring a pro, make sure you've done your due diligence, your reviews, your homework, and even a referral sometimes can turn into poor craftsmanship. So don't just trust somebody that gets referred to you. Dig deep, do your homework, get a proper recommendation from a pro.
But that's something that's nice to do, like 100% before you move in. They can work. They don't have to work around your furniture. They don't have to move your stuff. They can easily lay out, cover the floors, protect them from any splatter.
If you have the ability to have it painted before you move in,
it's a great option.
That definitely will save some money, some time, and probably produce a better result too. So you talked about lighting. By the way, painting. Okay, I just want to comment on this. So because you said, okay, paint the home before you move in, but we're also talking about the potential of resale. I think a house, depending on how you use your home and how many people are using it and the age of those people, I believe that your home probably needs to be repainted after kind of 5 to 7 years. So if you've been living in the home 5 to 7 years and you painted it when you moved in, you probably need to repaint again for resale, because the scuffs on the walls and all of those things, damage, just dirt, that can play a factor. The other part of it is the color choices. So what you prefer for color on for your own property and for your own use is going to be very different than what we might recommend for resale. So you got to be a little bit cautious for there. Now, if you want to choose nice neutral, modern colors for the rest of your home and go crazy in an area, I would say go crazy in like a powder room or a fourth bedroom or something.
Or do a feature wall that's easy to fix rather than painting a whole room again. You could just repaint one wall when you sell. It's easy.
Yes. Go ahead and talk about light fixtures. I just got to pick this up. Hang on.
Yeah. Light fixtures are by far one of the most effective ways to personalize your house and increase value. When, in newer construction areas, you've got all these homes with builders' standard light fixtures. They're typically butt ugly. They typically don't provide adequate lighting. And replacing them can be done on a budget. It can be used to really emphasize your personality and create a ton of character in the house. So light fixtures can cost a ton of money as well. So you got to figure out what your budget is. Oh, Ariel's hopping back on. So I'm just saying that light fixtures can add a ton of character to the house. They separate them when you do go to sell. Most houses in the neighborhood are going to still have the builder's standard fixtures, which are typically ugly and don't provide enough lighting. But I think in key areas like master bedroom, kitchen, foyer, hallways, like entryways, when you first walk in, being greeted by a really nice, elegant light fixture, whatever, it really elevates the home and separates it from other comparable properties.
Yeah, and I think it also adds to the element of just better lighting, right?
100%.
Light, the way the light showcases the property, like each room can look very, very different if it's got the proper lighting. So having good light is key to not only making your home feel warm and inviting, but also to good photos. And when you're looking at a photo online, when you're looking at a home online, and now a lot of people aren't going to the home unless it looks good online. Something as simple as swapping out that $5 builder fixture for a $70, $80 more designer style fixture. Doesn't have to be anything too fancy. It just has to look nice for that particular room. Really makes a world of difference, especially if your home is being staged. You have all this nice furniture, nice staging. It's decorated really well, and then you get this little piece of shit light fixture, right?
Yeah.
So you're not doing yourself any justice. Holy nice toy collection you got there. You were covering it with your
that's
with your fat ass.
Alicia's preparing to sell it.
Oh, okay.
But just you made a note on providing adequate or appropriate lighting. But another thing with regards to that is just making sure you use light bulbs that produce a nice light, not a really stark, bright white or blue light. You want to have a 3000 Kelvin or less kind of light to get a nice color out of it, and make sure they're consistent throughout the house. And dimmers, I think every light should be on a dimmer.
Dimmers set the mood, right? I mean, they can really define the right amount and right temperature of light for a room. Yeah. And at different times throughout the day. So I have got dimmers pretty well all throughout our home. And I know in the kitchen, as an example, as the day goes on and we get into the evening and nighttime, I dim them down just a little bit. And usually I dim the pot lights to be a little bit brighter than the pendant lights. And it just gives a nice little ambiance, makes it nice and cozy. So we've got paint, light fixtures.
Another one I was going to say, but I don't think you can do it immediately. Some of it you could do immediately, is landscaping.
Well, that was the first one on my list.
Yeah, and that just goes into the whole premise of when's the best time to plant a tree. The sooner you do it, the sooner it starts growing, the more mature it becomes earlier on in the time that you're living in the house. And those are things that most people, like if you look in our backyards, there's not many houses other than ours that have trees in them. There's a few, but not many.
And look at how much they have filled in the last 3 years. Like my backyard, Natalie calls it a jungle because it literally is like overgrown everything. And it's actually quite nice because if I sit on my back sofa, in the lounge area out back, nobody can really see me except for you from your master bedroom. And I just want to make sure you can check in on me every once in a while.
Yeah, it's, the one thing that would hold you back from doing some things regarding landscaping would be grading and not having a fence perhaps for a while. But you could do things in the front yard. And some people could do things in the backyard. If there's a lot of townhouses that get built and the builder does put up a fence, sometimes it's just one against the back or whatever. But yeah, for sure, I would say your earliest possible time, buy a tree or two or whatever, shrubs or bushes. And also then you can get away with buying younger ones. Like when I put mine in, I specifically wanted, trees that were a few years old already because they were taller. I didn't want to wait 10 years to have the privacy. So it cost me, $100 to $200 more per tree in order to have that. So doing it earlier, you can get away with buying something a bit smaller because you've got more time for it to grow.
Well, now the key to that is strategically you got to place them in an area that you're going to have enough room for them to grow. B, if you think you want to put in a patio or a kid's play area or a pool or whatever, you don't want to just plop a freaking tree in the backyard, because I've seen that before, and that's just the wrong thing to do, because then that can actually have the negative effect on resale, right? Like if you've got this whatever 36-foot wide backyard, and then the previous owner or you as the current seller just plopped a tree right in the middle of it, that's not going to benefit anyone. But so you want to think in advance and think what you're going to do with the yard.
More thought has to go into it with regards to the type of tree, if it's conducive to growing in that environment with that amount of light,
and the sun too. Like, when are you getting sun at certain parts of the day in the backyard, and then are you going to want shade or are you going to want sun? So you have to kind
one of the
of
reasons that I chose the ornamental pear trees that we have, which I imagine is a similar reason you chose yours, is because they're tall and narrow. So with a smaller backyard, they really don't impede into the yard, the usable space of it. It just provides privacy against the back.
Yeah.
But I've seen some people that drop in big cedars that grow really wide. You have to choose an appropriate tree that suits the space.
Yeah, for sure. And you need to accompany it with other landscaping too, right? So it's not just the tree going in. Now you're going to do a little bit of a mulch area with a little flower garden around it, or something of that nature. So it's a planning process for sure. But when you have a warm and inviting backyard and you're selling your property anywhere between kind of April, May to October, November, you get to showcase it. And then, people interested in buying your home go out back and they go, wow, I can really envision us having family here, having a meal here.
Well, it's probably the most affordable way to add additional living area. I'm not going to say square feet because it's not accounted for in the square footage, but realistically, that's, we spend as much time outside during the nicer months as we do inside. And we enjoy it thoroughly.
It has greatly evolved over the last 10, 15 years as to how people are using that outdoor space and how much they are using it, right?
Yeah.
And now, I mean, you can get beautiful furniture, all of these different cooking options with smokers and pellet barbecues and natural gas lines and rotisseries and all of these things to cook outside. And now you've got all this beautiful furniture. And so it absolutely becomes an extension of your living space. If you're in quarantine, wouldn't you love to have a nice backyard to spend some time in? So I think a lot of people will recognize that now. And traveling and things like cottages and traveling have become very, very expensive. So people are just staying at home more.
Yeah.
So having a nice, and then the yard is all about curb appeal. So when you walk up to the house, you want to feel good walking up to your own home. You want people to walk by and go, wow, this is a nice house. You want people when they're interested in buying your home to walk up and immediately know, wow, this home must be well taken care of. This home must be well upgraded. I like this house. I'd like to, drive up to this home and call it my own. So I think landscaping has become a very integral part in the overall home ownership process and in the overall resale process.
Well, and it's a huge component to the sale of the house. Like if somebody has a backyard, even as we just hit the end of the winter season, heading into spring, and the weather's starting to warm up a little bit, a lot of people still have all their patio furniture wrapped up, but we insist, put it out the cushions, put out some pillows, set a scene, because you can help people envision themselves spending time back there, and it becomes a big part of the selling features of your home.
Yep. And at all times of the year, if you're doing things like planting trees and certain strategic privacy things, even in December or January, you'll notice it. So so it comes in handy, because then you can tell a story during those months. That, can you imagine when everything comes in bloom? Like we sold that home on Dewar Court, and all of the forested areas were sparse, right? Like you're in the middle of the winter. There's no greenery, But we painted that picture. Can you imagine when that all goes in bloom in the spring and in the summer, and even in the fall with the color changes and all that? So it's a great investment. It's not a cheap one, but it's one that I think gets you a lot more return than people give credit for.
Yes.
So I highly recommend that. So those are the top 3 things that you can do after getting the keys to your new home or your newly constructed home. Paint is definitely a worthwhile investment at any time of home ownership, certainly when you're selling. Same thing with lighting. Don't go crazy on the lights, but some nice strategic upgrades inside and outside the home are very, very important. And
keep in mind, if you're able to get anything done before you move things in, anything that might be better suited to being done in an empty house, consider doing it then, such as maybe doing smooth ceilings. If you didn't do it through the builder, you want to do it after. It's very messy, so it's good to do that ahead of time before you start moving all your furniture in. So do that, clean the ducts,
flooring,
then
same
move your
thing,
furniture.
right?
Flooring, yeah, absolutely.
You can get a ton of other options for flooring that builders won't give you, and it's going to be a lot cheaper too. So
yes.
Now, some people can't bridge between the two homes, but for the most part, I would say about 60 to 70% of our transactions that we represent the sellers that they've purchased a new construction home, most of them do get a bridge, which means you close on the new property first, and then you close on your resale property a little bit later. And of course, we strategically work that backwards to make sure that everything lines up. But that is a great way of doing it. Get it done before you move in. And these 3 things are actually applicable to resale homes as well, because you might want to paint your this home that you've purchased that happens to be a resale home. A lot of people don't upgrade their lighting, so you might need to do that. And not everybody has a backyard like yours, Adrian. So
my 30, what's my backyard, like 36 by 25? Hey, I made the most of it and I enjoy my time.
I don't even think
there.
It's 25 deep.
It's probably, I think it's just shy. It's like 20 something.
Yeah. Not a lot of space, but
no,
it doesn't matter for that type of home.
Well, I've seen before and after photos and shows where they take even balconies on condos and do them up nice, right? Like whatever space you have, you can work within your limitations to make it space that you can actually use. And, a lot of balconies and condos become storage for bikes and shit. But if you take the time, lay down a nice floor, put up some lights, whatever you're allowed to do, obviously, doesn't matter how big your backyard is or your balcony. You can do it, and there's right on a budget too. Like there's so many
great ideas on Pinterest. A lot of great ideas on Pinterest.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that extra money, take a few minutes every weekend and just plug away at it. And by the end of one full summer, it might take you the full summer, but hey, then you got something that you enjoy and use
next
it next
summer
year.
You're ready to go. Exactly.
So there it is. If you have any experience, one second, if you have any experience with what we've just talked about, or you have any insight, any comments, any questions, please send us a DM or, hey, give us a call. We've got a 1-800 number. If you don't know this, we've got a 1-800 number, and it dials everybody on the team. So there's always somebody available to answer your call. 1-800-617-0090. And that's how you get in touch with us. What were you going to say?
I'm gonna introduce a new little segment, and whether or not we continue to do it is up to you and me, I suppose. 50-50, you decide. But I want to do a quick shout out to recent client Charlie. Great guy. We just firmed up on his sale on Sunday. A nice townhouse in Georgetown, an amazing location. I don't know if you know the area, but great spot. There's like 2 streets and there's only one way to get in and out. It's super quiet. We had a lot of success with it. We firmed up on the sale. We listed at $759,900, sold for $759,900. Interesting with that house, the day we went to market, Around the corner, another house went to market same day. I'm sorry, day after. Oh wait. Anyways, around the same time, within 24 hours, plus or minus. It was bigger. It was 400 square feet larger. It was an end unit versus our inside unit. It had a double wide driveway. Had more features. The lot was double the width. They did a strategy of pricing it very low. They were 30,000. Oh no, they were $40,000 under our price. So obviously I knew we weren't going to sell until they did. They were holding offers. They ended up selling for 800. I pegged the value at 820. We ended up selling ours for 40,000 less, which theirs should have been 60 to 70,000 more. So we did really well with that one. Kudos to Charlie. He's very happy.
Strategy makes a difference.
Strategy is
different
key.
Different markets require different strategies. Different homes require different strategies. Just like we sold Asselton, our property at Asselton Boulevard. We were listed at what the hell were we listed at? $750, and it sold for $785 firm, no conditions.
Which, let's put that into context.
In less than 24 hours, and the home one block of townhomes over, similar situation, was 500 square feet bigger, an end unit with more upgrades, and it only sold for 800 about 4 weeks earlier. So yes, a little bit different market 4 weeks earlier, but I mean,
not that different.
500 square feet an end unit. So anyways, that was a good result. Good job with that. Congrats, Charlie. Thanks for taking the time to listen or watch. This was episode 86 of KT Confidential. Give us those thumbs up. We like when you like our stuff. That's it.
Ciao.
See ya. Have a good week, everybody.